We are live Friday, September 21st. Get another couple days under my belt. I'm feeling good about DFS right now, but baseball has become very, very frustrating. Jake, how did your Thursday shake out?
I think I was up a little bit. Nothing special. Yeah, I'm ready for a real slate. I didn't like that one last night, so hopefully we find something or a few things we like on this one. So
We're bound to find something, I guess. I think we're getting ready to find NHL and the NBA.
mm-hmm. I think you can see it. It's getting close. Almost feel it.
Yeah, I'm getting this feeling in my stomach thinking about baseball. The same way I feel if I'm like 5 minutes away from my house and I need to go to the bathroom. It hurts. I just want it to happen as fast as possible. I just want it to be over with because I know it's going to be satisfying when it's done.
Yeah. That's fair.
Best I got. 14 games today. Tons of like big name pitchers throwing, and in my opinion, absolutely no good value guys at the bottom. So it's going to be good to dig into these games. You ready to get this started?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're good. Let's do it. Brewers and Pirates first game up. Brew Crew 4.4 run implied total. Pirates 3.8. It's a 57% chance to win for the Brewers. Julius Chassin going for Milwaukee. Ivan Nova going for Pittsburgh. This is a game that's not going to get a ton of love from me. I don't have any Chassin on either site. I don't have any Nova on either site. And I just have a very small amount of Brewers bats. So does anything at all stand out for you in this game today?
No, not really. I was hoping you could get me onto something here. I mean, I really like Yelich, so
sure.
Surprise there. I think Moustakas is really interesting too. Shaw, pretty much always a pinch hit risk at this point. Granderson's price has come down. He's okay. So I don't think a Brewer stack is the craziest thing in the world, but 4.3 implied total. And I don't love the righties against Nova. So I don't know. I'm probably, for the most part, off of this game outside of Yelich. I want to jam him in wherever I can. Wind's blowing in and could be rainy here. So this one might be one to keep our eye on as far as weather goes.
Yeah, I hope it just gets rained out.
Right? That would make it so much easier.
Yeah, I'd rather just not have to pay attention to it. Yeah, I have 5% Granderson on FanDuel. I don't have anybody else higher than that on either site. So it's just, and I essentially don't have anybody from the Pirates. I have one-off Cervelli. It's just uneventful.
I mean, Cervelli's always in my pool. And then like Chassin and Nova are two similar guys. Like they can handle righties. They are pretty bad against lefties. And we got a question in chat that might be interesting. So these just aren't the lefties I want to target for the most part against Chassin. So are you on either pitcher here? I'm sure you have a little bit of exposure to both, right? But
I literally have 0 to either guy.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's kind of where I was at too. I don't really see a reason for it. Like there's Godley, there's Sabathia in this range. So I just won't get there, I don't think.
Wait, did you say Godley?
Yeah. They changed it.
I've got Greinke.
It was supposed to be Godley last night. Well, that changes some things. I got to delete that in the spotlight hitters.
Baseball, woo!
Dude, it was Godley. I checked twice last night, and then I wake up and everything's changed. All right. So that sucks. The slate just got even worse for me. But that's all right. We'll figure it out.
Yes, we will. DFS Goat. Hey guys, got a question regarding MME. Didn't have to worry about editing my lineups last night since we had all the lineups 4 hours before lock. But would I need Excel in order to bulk edit? Doesn't necessarily have to be Excel. You could use Google Sheets or something. But once you have your lineups in, if you're looking to make wholesale changes, like if you're making changes as lineups come out, what you'd want to do is download the template file from whichever site you're playing on, whether it's DK or FanDuel, and then you can like override all of the lineups in one big entry. So whether that's Excel or Google Sheets or whatever is on Macs that's not Office, all of those things would work. Any sort of spreadsheet program will allow you to edit the template CSV from either FanDuel or DraftKings.
Yeah. So I think what we both do is run our crunch as late as possible. If there's one lineup that's still waiting at 6:30 Eastern, then you're just gonna have to make changes after lock, which sucks. But
yeah.
Hopefully it's not one that you care about all that much. We've had it where it's guys we've been super exposed to, and they end up not being in the lineup, and you end up with negative expected value lineups, which is really, really frustrating sometimes for MME. But most of the time, you'll get the lineups before the slate locks, and you can crunch and then download the template, copy paste your crunch onto the template, and you are good to go.
Yeah, and like both, I think FanDuel probably has some information on the specific way to do that. If you're using Fantasy Cruncher, I know Fantasy Cruncher has some information in their forums about how to do that. But if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. Email me, josh@awesemo.com. Happy to walk you through it.
You can DM me too. There's an article for DraftKings if that's what he's talking about. DraftKings.
He mentioned FanDuel in his follow-up message, but it's the same process.
An article on.
Same process either way. All right, let's get out of this game.
Ooh.
Mets and Nats. Mets 4.3 run implied total. Nats 3.7. 56% chance to win for the Mets. Jake DeGrom going for New York. Joe Ross going for Washington. So I have more Joe Ross than I do Jake DeGrom. And it's not to say that I don't like Jake DeGrom. I think he's in a fine spot. As of right now, I have more Garrett Cole. But I think Ross is sort of the more interesting guy to talk about in that, DeGrom is clearly good. So do you have any interest in Ross here against the Mets?
Yeah, 5,500 through 74 pitches last time out. We didn't have a strikeout, and that was against Chicago, I believe, the Cubs. But the swinging strike rate, it's not like it was 2, it was 8. So it wasn't terrible. Probably should have got a couple strikeouts in there. And for 5,500, if you can go another 5, maybe 6, you're in really good shape, even if the strikeouts aren't there. So, yeah, I will have some Joe Ross exposure. DeGrom, do you think Ross is going to be popular at all?
Probably. He should be, right?
He's like the only one down here. Like, he's the only one below 6K, I think.
Yeah, and it's not as if people are like super nervous about the Mets either.
Yeah, besides the 2 Texas guys, but you would have to do a lot for me to play one of those guys. And Eric Lauer, no chance.
Sorry.
What?
So my wife has a small plant that is inside the body of a horse. And she had it sitting on the windowsill downstairs for some reason. And I think our dog just ate the head off of it. She sent me the text. It caught me off guard. I'll deal with it later. Okay, so let me know. Why do you prefer DeGrom to Cole today?
Yeah, so I think Cole is going to be higher owned, number one.
Sure.
I think it's DeGrom is easily the better pitcher at this point.
I would agree.
If this was April 20th, I think that 420.
Good work.
If this was April, I think you would probably I'd be more likely to play Cole over DeGrom. But if I have the choice and the $400 doesn't mean much, then I'm going to DeGrom wherever I can, just because I think there is quite a bit of a talent gap and the matchups are somewhat similar. The Nats are probably a little tougher of a matchup, but I'd much rather have the more talented player. I mean, for God's sakes, he just struck out 12 in Fenway in 7 innings. Like he's just ridiculous. So probably won't get a win because his team won't score for him because that's what they've done all year. But he just goes 107, 108, 109, 110 pitches. He's exactly what you want for a 12-4 player, and I'm just betting on the talent here.
Yeah, I totally get it. I have no problem with whatever percentages I get, whether it's DeGrom or Cole. I'm just happy to have one of those guys. I have no real issues one way or the other. Okay. So I'm a little surprised by this. I don't expect it to hold, but it seems like it's a price thing for right now. And once ownership comes out, I'll be able to adjust a little bit more. But I caught a lot of Mets on both sites. They're 4th for me on FanDuel and 8th for me on DK, particularly Jay Bruce, 2,500 on FanDuel, 3,600 on DraftKings. Do you like a Mets stack here?
I mean, if Ross is popular, like if we get the ownership projections and Ross is, 18%, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I like Bruce quite a bit. First in outfield eligibility, 3,600. Conforto's 1,000 more expensive, and then like Nimmo is too expensive for me. Like these guys are fine, but not a stack that I'm going to be forcing in. I don't think I'll have full stacks of the Mets.
Okay. Yeah, I like those first 5. 3 lefties. McNeil for a second base option I think is nice. Doesn't strike out all that much. Conforto and Bruce, and then Rosario and Todd Frazier. I'm not really going any further down. If you want to get weird and go to Dom Smith for minimum salary on FanDuel, knock yourself out. But I think, especially if Joe Ross does get some ownership, if the Mets don't have a lot of it, I'd like to use them as like my low price stack in lieu of whoever is the chalky low price stack. Aaron Borchard, #Tigers. Ugh. That went poorly for me. I got bailed out, but that did not go well.
Yeah, I did not have Tigers full stacks, but I made money somehow. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to baseball at all last night. Just full disclosure.
That's probably a safe bet.
I was watching some preseason hockey.
That sounds terrible.
Well, we have 2 TVs in our living room, so
that doesn't make it better.
And then Browns Jets on the other side.
Well, dude, up until Baker Mayfield came into that game, it was dreadful.
Snoozer.
Oh my God, it was so bad.
I get that. Also, I get that Baker was good, but like he didn't even throw a touchdown. Like let's hold off on the Hall of Fame Baker Mayfield.
I appreciated the energy of it all.
No, yeah, it was great. You could tell like the team was obviously better with him in there, but
yeah, you can't put Taylor back in now, right? That's just it. It's Baker's
I don't
team.
think so. But also, yeah, the thing about like what Hugh Jackson said after the game was like we'll have to look at tape. Like, what is he supposed to say? I hate Hugh. Like, I don't think Hugh Jackson's a very good coach. But what is he supposed to say? Like, oh, we got this guy that we just signed in Taylor. Like, yeah, there's no way he starts. You
just can't.
I don't know.
I mean, the team would lose their minds. They were clearly like jacked for him to be in.
Right.
The Browns defense looks so fast on the field. It's so weird to me. I mean, I think they just are, but just watching them, I feel like the Browns are going to be like really good in 2 years. Not that that's a hot take. I mean, you have 150 draft picks in the first 3 rounds. You're going to be fine, but I don't know. We'll talk about that. I'll talk about the Browns on Sunday. Orioles and Yankees. Orioles 3.4 run implied total. Yankees 5.7, highest of the slate. The 73% chance to win for the Yanks. Jeffrey Ramirez going for Baltimore. CC Sabathia going for the Yanks. I normally wouldn't be here for this sort of stance, but don't have much of a choice here. While it is a ton of righties, give me some CC Sabathia. This is Chris Spags doing the early show. Jesus.
Yeah, Chris Spags. He's going to be pumped. He gets to play CC, CC's going to be chalky. Just perfect storm here. He doesn't strike out a lot of righties, but like Baltimore will certainly help you rack up some strikeouts here. And, there's going to be at least one lefty in there. He's awesome against lefties, always has been. And he's done a good job at limiting hard hits to righties, which is really encouraging. He's probably only going 5 or 6 here, but for 7,500, you can get away with that if he gets you a K per inning.
Yeah,
which I think he has a pretty good chance to do. It's just a good matchup. Crafty veteran pitcher as a huge favorite. I just expect him to kind of take care of business here.
So do I, and so does the public. The Yankees are favored by 2.3 runs. Brutal. Orioles are so bad, so they'll probably blow up. Yankees, though, number 1 stack for me on both sites. 14% aggregate ownership on both sides. I am going to assume you feel similarly.
Yeah, Jeffrey, he's got real issues against lefties. So Marquez. Why do I say Marquez? Aaron Hicks, Gregorius, those guys I love here. Gregorius is super expensive. The Yankees are pretty expensive as a whole, but you still have Stanton for under 5K.
Yeah. Against
a righty. Judge crushes righties, better than he hits lefties. He's 5,500. McCutchen leading off for 43. This is one of the best stacks on the night. It's pretty clear, near 6-run total. Terrible bullpen behind Ramirez. Yeah, they're not that interesting to talk about, I don't think.
No, it's just play good teams with high run totals. It's the same thing that I tried to do yesterday. It's the same thing I'm going to do today. I hope they're not popular. But yeah, I want McCutchen, Judge, Stanton, little bits of Gregorius. I'll have some Hicks. I'll have Gary Sanchez in abundance. I don't get to too much Andahar, but I don't have a problem with it. I don't get to too much Gleyber Torres, but I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I think the whole lineup is in play. Some of these guys have rough price points, but with a 5.7 run implied total, I'd rather just have unique lines coming from it.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Agreed.
Do you want any part of the Orioles?
No.
Yeah, I think
you.
I could see doing something like Mullins, VR, Jones, Mancini if Sabathia is chalky. But I don't need it. Yankees Park is just such a good home run park. If they're running out so many righties, I don't mind getting some of the guys with pop in Baltimore on the off chance it goes south. But it doesn't appear that it's going to be going south.
No, I expect CC to have a decent start here. And with no Godley, that makes me want to play him even more. So that kind of sucks.
There you go. Rays and Jays. Rays 4.4 run implied total. Jays 4.1. 54% chance to win for the Rays. I believe it will be Jalen Beeks coming in for Tampa. Sean Reed Foley going for Toronto. I don't really want either of the guys here from a pitching perspective. I have 3% Reed Foley on DK. I'm confident that's fine for me. And I probably won't have any Beeks. Just doesn't seem like he's going to go super deep. But at this point, who really knows? I just don't see the need with 28 pitchers on the slate to get too cute with Beeks. If I end up with a couple percentage points of him, I don't care. But there's no volume here for me.
Yeah, agreed. What's Beeks' price? I don't have it in front of me.
Beeks is 6,300.
Yeah. Why do they do that with him? He's like the only one that gets above 6K.
I don't know.
And he doesn't
weird.
Go deep. So. Yeah, I mean, unless we get word somehow that he's expected to go 5+ innings, then I don't think we can play Beeks here, which is a shame because he would be low owned, and I think he could have success in this matchup if he was able to go long enough. And then Reed Foley, he's had 2 10 strikeout games in his first 5 starts, which is super impressive. One was in Yankee Stadium last time out. He's got electric stuff, and he's at home here. I would like to see the roof open because the wind's blowing straight in at 20 plus miles an hour. And then I would have a lot of interest in him. We just got ownership.
Whew. I heard your thing go, and then I felt my wrist vibrate, so I figured that's what it was.
Well, there we go. We're just that in sync.
Bye.
Oh, my.
Really?
Not what I expected at all.
DeGrom, I guess?
No.
Yo. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get there, I guess.
All right. So this will be a fun slate if this is the case. But let's see here. Where are we at? Oh, yeah. Reed Foley. So I think I will have some Reed Foley. I don't think it's a great matchup for him. The Rays are just kind of pesky. They've got speed all over the place. Got some guys in there that don't strike out all that often. But I will be like, there's nowhere to go down here besides Reed Foley. It's not often you see a guy that's got 2 10 strikeout games in his last 5, being at home, possibly a favorite, and only 6,400.
Wow, some of this is wild. Reed Foley, 12% expected ownership. I will be under that.
If he's 12%, like I would have probably double that.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not expecting him to light it up with strikeouts, but I think he can go 6 innings.
I'm scared of the Rays, man. I can't get these dudes right.
They are a little bit scary. I don't know what it is. They just like, it seems like they knock around like stud pitchers or like really good ones like Kluber. It seems like they
so many lefties.
Yeah. Let's see what they've done recently. Let's look at.
I'm going to circle back through all the games we looked at just to see if anything stands out ownership-wise that we didn't have before.
Sure.
No ownership at all to Chacin or Nova. No ownership to the hitters. So we kind of had the same stance there. Mets are chalk.
Wow.
They have some ownership, so good to know there. Joe Ross, only 5% ownership, so that's a spot where I'm going to end up being way above the field.
So I'm messing around with the lineup builder just to try to get an idea for lineup construction. Does everything fit like a glove with these high exposed players? High owned players, I should say.
Like who?
Like the Mets guys, Hill.
Well, I mean, the Mets guys are going to fit for sure. They're, no higher than 4,600 for Conforto. You get a first baseman, a second baseman, a shortstop, a third baseman. They're going to fit real well.
Yeah, I guess so.
20% expected ownership to Sabathia. I think that's pretty reasonable. Yankees are a chalk stack. That should be no surprise.
I mean, give me DeGrom every day of the week over Garrett Cole at their ownerships. Look at them right now.
I would flip-flop the two.
Yeah.
There's no reason Cole should be 22% and DeGrom is 3. Not with a $400 price gap. I would just want to flip that because it's probably 50-50. Actually, I can tell you what it is. So I added a thing in my sim to compare like 2 individual guys. So between Jake DeGrom and Garrett Cole in my numbers. Now, Cole's going to come out ahead because I do have Cole ahead. But I have Garrett Cole outscoring Jake DeGrom 57% of the time, DeGrom 39%, and then they're within a half point of each other 3% of the time. So it's like basically we can just say like 60-40 Garrett Cole, but he's getting 22% of the ownership to DeGrom's 3. So that's an easy spot where I want to flip-flop these two guys.
Sure. Yeah.
Alrighty. So now that we have Rays and Jays stuff in here and Sean Reed Foley's 12%, yeah, I would much rather have a lot more Joe Ross than Sean Reed Foley here.
Man, I would rather have Reed Foley. I think Reed Foley is just way better.
I think he's better too. But if he's going to have more ownership against this Rays team who just seems to be good constantly, I just don't want to be there.
Are they that good? I mean, I guess
No, not to me. But they just keep being good.
Yeah, all right. Since August 1st, against right-handed pitchers, 120 WRC plus. That's tied for second best.
Jesus.
They have a 174 ISO. That's pretty good, considering the park they hit in half the time. 349 on base percentage. That's really good. That's number 2, I think. And then just a 20.3% K rate. They're walking. I mean,
What's
they're
their
tough.
hard hit rate?
Let's see here. They are 6th at 38.4%.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on Reed Foley.
I mean, you got to miss bats against them. That apparently they just have too much speed. Like you got Pham and Malik Smith in there. Lau can steal. Wendell, Kiermaier. It's a pretty tough lineup now that I'm thinking about it.
Nick C.
Total just came out, by the way. Just now.
What came out?
The total for Tampa, Toronto.
Oh.
Reed Foley's slight underdog.
Hasn't come up on my screen yet.
Oh, it will. I believe you look at the same page that I do. So,
Sportsbook review?
No.
I still don't have it, but I'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, I'm going to avoid Sean Reed Foley here, and I'm going to not really have much bats. Although I do like a little bit of the Rays on FanDuel because they're all just kind of cheap-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing that stands out to me as something that I want to have a ton of, though.
Yeah, that's fair. I probably won't have too many Rays bats.
Minnesota and Oakland line just came out. I had it in for 8. It's 8.5 shaded down. Good to know there. Ugh. Make that switch and let's move on.
Let's do it.
Red Sox and Indians. Red Sox 4.2 run implied total. Indians 3.7. It's a 55% chance to win for the Red Sox. Chris Sale going for Boston. Trevor Bauer going for Cleveland. I probably had too many innings in here for Sale when I did my original crunch. I don't expect to have him at all. And similarly, I don't expect to have Bauer with any sort of volume. I don't think that either guy is going to go particularly deep into this game. What are you thinking about Sale and Bauer?
Yeah, I don't think either of these guys are in play. So Bauer, has he pitched bullpen sessions? I haven't read that much about him, but he did not make rehab starts. I know that. There's no minor league stats for this year for him. And he hasn't pitched in 6 weeks. So it's just, you don't know what to expect. They'll probably come out and say he's limited to 4 innings. He's limited to 5 innings.
Indians manager Terry Francona made the announcement Wednesday, adding that Bauer will probably only go a couple of innings in his first start since fracturing his right fibula back on August 11th. Shane Bieber will piggyback him in the game.
Shane Bieber, huh? Maybe I should be on the Red Sox bats then. But the wind is howling in here too. 20 miles an hour in. But it is hot. So, I don't know. Kind of negates that good hitting weather if it's blowing in that hard.
Yeah. So I don't have any ownership to the Red Sox or Indians bats outside of just marginal amounts.
Right. You're taking away a couple innings. Like you would never target against Sale and Bauer. That already takes of production. So yeah, I'm good to move on. I literally don't have anything besides saying that those guys are not in play for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll have a little bit of bets Benintendi and JD as like one-off guys, but that's about it.
Makad had a good comment. They're the best this, second best this. They rarely K. They walk a ton, steal a ton. I think I'm going to fade the Rays. Yeah. Maybe I'll rethink that. I'll be on the live stream. You'll get the final verdict of what I do then. So ask me about the Rays tonight. I'll see if I get there, but I mean, they are cheap enough, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
You can tell it's the end of the season. Reds and Marlins. Reds 4.1 run implied total. Marlins 3.4. It's a 58% chance to win for the Reds. Luis Castillo going for Cincinnati. Wei and Chen, the GOAT, going for Miami. 14% expected ownership for Luis Castillo. I've got double that. I think this is a perfect spot for him, aside from the fact that the Marlins are just weird. I want to have a lot of Luis Castillo. What about you?
With no Godley on the slate and seeing this projected ownership for Rich Hill, I'm going to make that pivot to Castillo. I thought he would kind of be the chalkier option just because people like to target against Miami. It's a low run total, all that stuff. But Castillo is super talented, and I'd like to see him be more consistent, but he does still get swinging strikes. He does still have 8 to 10 strikeout upside here. He's only got 10 strikeouts once this year. If you would have told me to give an over-under of 10 strikeout games for Castillo before the season, I probably would have said 7. But he just, I don't know, maybe he's not as good as I thought. I think it's a really good matchup. A bunch of righties right in a row, so he can get into a rhythm against these righties in the middle of the order. Gets the pitcher spot in Chen as well. Yeah, not much to be negative about for Castillo, especially if he's going to be substantially lower owned than Rich Hill.
Completely agree. Too much upside there in a GPP. Guys like Peter O'Brien project a K 36% of the time. Sign me up. I want a ton of Luis Castillo. I'll take my chances. And I'll have a little bit of Wei and Chen too, because when he's at home, it's when he's at home he's incredible, right?
Yeah, that's his thing. So I was actually trying to look that up right now, and then I got distracted by Slack. Let's see here.
I didn't even see Slack. I can't even imagine what's happening in Slack right now. It's usually never good.
Oh, no.
What up, Slack?
I was just reading random stuff.
Yeah.
Home away. So, yeah, at home, Chen, 2018, 238 WOBA, 8.37 K per 9, walked below 8%, 411 xFIP on the road.
Dude, his whip is 0.99 at home and 1.85 on the road.
That's so bad. Yeah, on the road, 421 WOBA. I know we don't use that stat that much, but 6.3 K per 9. Walk rate is up, 555 xFIP. So basically everything, every stat is like he's just a different pitcher at home. I don't know exactly what the reason would be. Besides, it is a good part, but those kind of splits are pretty crazy. So, what are you doing with them? Are you playing them?
Yeah, I have 7% right now, and I think I'll probably end up with a little bit more. 6,800, not the best price.
No, but I mean, he's not free anymore. So right. It was one thing when it was 4,500.
Exactly.
Or 5K or whatever.
There's not a ton of upside in that price point.
I think I agree with you. That being said, I do think, I don't know that I don't want to say safe, but I think it's a decent chance he can get you 20 points, which is super appealing for under 7K.
Whoa, 20.
What?
20.
Well, yeah, look at his last 2 starts. He's gotten 19.48, 20.56. Last 2 home starts. Like, look at these game logs.
Wait,
last 3 starts on the road.
Right? What I have on my screen is wrong.
I can't see.
Oh, I'm in FanDuel. Okay. I was like, motherfucker did not have back-to-back 40 and 50-point games with that stat line. Scoring is so different.
his last 3 starts, he's been 11 or lower. Oh wait, he had 32 and 27, or no, 32 and 32.7. His last 2 home starts. So that was against Toronto and Atlanta. It's not like he's doing this against Baltimore twice.
His last 4 home starts has been 17.9 or higher.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to have some because every single game, I mean, all of his starts at home are in green. 32, 32, 18, 23, 24, 22, 18. Those are all just home starts. All the road starts -1, -4.
Just, I don't know. I guess we are dealing with human beings. That's what I always say when you come to Wien Chen. He must feel better at home. There's got to be something behind this. This is outrageous.
I had just, this has nothing to do with it for the most part. There was a basketball court that we would play at, that I played at on the road, multiple times every year for however many years, and it was really deep behind the backboard, and it was really dark in the stands. So I always had real big trouble with like depth perception at that particular court, just because I'd always felt like I couldn't figure out the real distance between myself and where the hoop was. So it could just be something like that, where it's just this perfect amount of vision for him in his background or something stupid. And you'll never know it. It's never going to come out as like news, but it's just like subconscious type stuff.
Could be. I mean, that makes sense. Doesn't Ryan Anderson have that at home? Used to play for I think he still plays for the Rockets, right?
He does not. He's on the Suns now.
Oh, he got signed elsewhere?
He was traded to the Suns.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no,
I think he's like colorblind or some shit.
Yeah, and he has really he's got a lot of trouble seeing behind the basket at home.
Yeah, something like that.
It could be something just really small like that, where he may just feel more confident at home. I have no idea. Wait, Rhino at home? I thought it was he can't shoot on. I thought it was he can't shoot at home. Or do I have that backwards?
I think you have it backwards.
Oh, wait, T McBee. T McBee is confusing me. I thought I had that right. All my NBA DFS knowledge.
Damn it. All right. He has not been so bad. That is a common misconception. He's very good. He's just not good in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Splits.
I mean, you just can't defend in the playoffs.
2016-17 splits. Yeah,
Smashes
he's
on the road.
Way better on the road. He shot same amount of minutes home and road in 2016-17. He shot 46.5% from three on the road and 33% at home.
Jeez.
He shot 93% from the free throw line on the road and 77% at home. Now, that's something that just shouldn't have that sort of swing. Now, they're relatively small sample size. He's not a guy that shoots a ton of free throws just because of his play style, but it's shocking. His true shooting was 65% on the road and 51% at home. That's two separate players.
That's remarkable.
Yeah.
65%?
Yeah.
True shooting percentage?
Yeah. And 51% at home.
They should just never play him at home.
For real. It's like that back in the day when Clemens used to just come up in like June. Just play him in a very specific scenario.
Yeah.
Anyway, any bats in this game, Reds or Marlins?
Suarez. That's it. Just Suarez.
Yep. Royals and Tigers. Fuck this game. Royals 4.4 run implied total. Tigers 4.6.
You're so mailing it in right now.
I'm just mad at the Tigers from last night. 52% chance to win for the Tigers. Ian Kennedy going for Kansas City. Francisco Liriano going for Detroit. God, we're going to have a lot to talk about here, which is just not at all how this should be shaking out.
I know.
Liriano and Kennedy both projected for 10% ownership on DraftKings. Who do you want to have more of?
I think I would rather have Liriano.
Same.
I see myself having more exposure to him. He is decent at holding runners. If McCann's behind the plate, that's also an upgrade, a downgrade on Merrifield and Mondesi speed, as we looked up yesterday. And Liriano is cheaper, and Royals have been just god-awful against lefties. So I don't think Liriano is any good, but I also don't think Kennedy's good. And I think people overuse pitchers against the Tigers. It's just like I have a real issue wanting to stack up either of these two teams. Like I see the healthy totals and stuff. It all looks great, like bad bullpens, but I just have such a hard time stacking these teams up when they don't have anything to play for. And it's a 14-game slate. There's 26 other teams to choose from. I don't know. Do you feel that same way, or do you just? I mean, you think less about that, probably, right?
Yeah. I don't have any problems having them. Just depends on sort of the way that the structure is playing out. I have more interest in the Tigers today than I did yesterday, but it does scare me. I mean, I don't like most of the guys that are on these teams, so I can see myself being let down.
Oh yeah, I mean, God, I just feel like I always do this, and it's like, why did I stack the Tigers on a 14-gamer? Like the Yankees were there, could have played the Red Sox at low ownership. You could have played, the Nationals at no ownership. I know it's against DeGrom, but like, there's just so many teams with way, way better lineups. Like you could play Atlanta, it's not like they're pretty cheap, the Tigers especially, but like KC, they're not that cheap as a whole with Merrifield and Mondesi in there.
Yeah, I think the team that I'll be fading the most today will be the Rangers.
Okay. Yeah, like I would much rather have Texas than either of these two teams. Like the two guys I like on KC are Merrifield and Mondesi.
Texas getting 16% of the ownership today. That's 5% higher than the Yankees in second.
Is that right? Wow. It's just because of their pricing, right? It's got to be.
And the fact that there's a 10.5 run implied total. I mean, we'll be getting there next. Nope, not next, but second to next. It's in the hole.
All
right. Okay, so look, I'm going to have a little bit of Liriano. I'm going to have a little bit of Kennedy. I'm going to have a little bit of everything in this game. Tigers are my number 5 stack on FanDuel, number 2 on DraftKings. I'm right with the field on both. Most of the top of the order, Candelario, Stewart, Castellanos, V-Mart. Those are the guys that I'm going to have the most of. Similarly, on the opposite side, Royals, number 8 stack on FanDuel. I'm above the field. Number 3 stack on DK, also above the field. And it's the top guys again. Merrifield, Mondesi, Dozier, Sal Perez, who had a terrible game yesterday, kind of submarined me, and then Bonifacio. Look, I assume one of these teams is going to pop off.
I mean, oh God, I don't know. They're not unowned either, too. That's the problem.
They're not
with me. So I think I'm just going to play the hitters that I think are in very good spots. The individual hitters like Stewart. I think Castellanos is in a fine spot as well. And then I'm going to have a lot of 2-man stacks from this game. Merrifield and Mondesi, I love them as a 2-man. Just like double steal potential.
How's Liriano at holding runners?
I know Liriano. He's pretty good.
I thought so.
Let's see. Let me make sure on that. But we know it's a downgrade or it's an upgrade if McCann is out of the lineup for Merrifield and Mondesi. Let's see how many he's given up this year. I think it's like 7 or 8, which, these guys are going to steal on whoever. Yeah, he's given up 8 on 11 attempts. So 3 of those were in one game against the Cubs. He had the Royals stole once on him last time out on July 23rd.
Only 11 attempts across, 20 plus starts probably?
Yeah, I don't really care. Yeah, I pay more attention to the attempts.
Yeah.
Like, I want my guys getting thrown out every once in a while. I want them to be super, super aggressive. And these guys are, so.
Yeah, I'm going to have a bunch of this game. I'm going to pay close attention to where the ownership goes. I'm going to have a lot of Kristen Stewart if he's not owned, though. That's for sure. God. I don't even like talking about it. This is just an ugly game, and I'm going to end up having 15% of my exposure in it.
Run 5-2-1s and get Merrifield Mondesi, get Mondesi Perez, Merrifield Perez. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I think the Royals are the perfect team for that.
Yeah, I agree. You don't want a ton of Brian Goodwin, although I think he donged last night. I was like, oh, sweet. I know I have a lot of Royals. How much Goodwin do I have? Oh, cool. None. Fucking 0. Ugh. Phillies and Braves. Phillies 4-run implied total. Braves 4.5. 56% chance to win for the Braves. Nick Pivetta going for Philadelphia. Julio Teheran going for Atlanta. I do not have Teheran. I barely have Pivetta. I do have a ton of Phillies bats, though. So let's start with the pitching. You leaning more towards Pivetta or Teheran?
Teheran, I think, for 8,300. He's coming off a game with a 20% swinging strike rate. That always will catch my eye. He's obviously a guy we know that can miss bats. There's only a 4-run total against him. This game matters. Who won last night between these two? Do we know? It's your team.
Atlanta won.
Atlanta won?
8-3.
Okay, so they pretty much locked up the division, but
Braves are 99.1% to win the division, 6.5 games up on Philly.
Yeah, so I mean, if they win this, it's over, basically.
I'm pretty sure that it is legitimately over if they win this one.
Yeah, so that would be pretty exciting. Not that that is a reason to play Teheran, but he can obviously miss bats very, very well. The Phillies strike out about 25% against righties over the course of the season. I mean, a little bit less as of late, but they're not a team that's super scary with a guy that a righty that can miss bats. So 8,300, I think, is a fair price for Teheran. It's not overpriced. It's not underpriced. And he's not going to be super popular. So I like that. He's a high upside arm in a range that I'm looking for a guy to play.
The Braves' true magic number is 4 right now. They need some combination of 4 wins or 4 losses from the Phillies. So odds of right now, they play them so much that if they win 2 more games against the Phillies, it's just over.
Yeah.
Shout out to Riot. So I like the Phillies bats here. Only 2% expected ownership on DK. This is a spot I definitely want to be. I have 9. Lots of Hoskins, Cabrera, Ramos, Carlos Santana. This is a spot I definitely want to be. Teheran is prone to blow-ups, so I love being above the field here. The Phillies could easily smack him around.
I mean, yeah, he's prone to blow-ups. I think he's just as likely to get you 25 as he is to completely blow up.
Agreed.
I mean, he's not giving up a ton of home runs, which I like to see. The run prevention's been actually really good his last 10 starts. So he gave up 7 earned on July 24th, and then he's had 1 game with 4 earned, but he went 5 2/3, and then everything else has been 3 or less. A lot of 2s and 1s in there. So I don't know. I think he's a perfectly fine option. I don't really want to target him with Phillies bats, especially not righties like Ramos and Hoskins.
Yeah, I'm going to have a hard time getting to Teheran. I'd rather just pay $500 more and have Luis Castillo.
That's, I think, what most people will do.
Yeah.
I think it's reasonable, but MMEing, I'm definitely going to be over the field on Teheran if he's going to be 3-5%.
Gotcha. Freddie Freeman, only guy that I'm really interested in on the Braves side. Anybody else for you?
I mean, I think you either go full stack or I mean, Pavetta's in play for me as well, but I think a full stack is pretty appealing here against Pivetta. We've seen him. Well, first of all, he's got home run problems, and second of all, he's much worse on the road, like all Phillies pitchers are. Reasonable pricing here for the Braves, and Freeman, I think, is in a really good spot. Albies I like quite a bit. Markakis is someone I overplay probably, but he's only 4,100. And then you've got Acuna leading off. Flowers is a decent catcher for 3,600. So Pivetta, I mean, talk about a guy who's prone to blowups. He certainly is, especially on the road.
Sure. All right, let's talk this game now. Mariners and Rangers. Mariners 5.4 run implied total. Rangers 5.1. It's a 53% chance to win for the Mariners. Erasmo Ramirez going for Seattle. I can't remember who's supposed to start for Texas, but it's Ariel Jurado coming in as the nominal starter. Both guys not great. Implied total here, highest of the entire slate for the game itself. You're not using any pitching here, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Rangers, chalk stack on DK. Mariners, quite chalky as well. I think that I'm going to make sure I am under the field on the Rangers by a pretty significant margin. But what do you like here?
I mean, I love the Rangers bats just in a vacuum. I like targeting Erasmo. He's giving up 43% hard contact to lefties this year, even fly ball to ground ball, both 40.3% against lefties. Whip near 150 against lefties, doesn't strike them out at a good rate. And just like Gallo and Mazzara, Odor, Chu, these guys are some of my favorite plays on the slate. So it's going to be hard for me to – I'm certainly not full fading the Rangers. I think you don't need to do that if you're playing 150 or even a few lineups. But, in single entry, I think it makes sense as a fade just because their ownership is going to be completely out of hand. But, like, if you're playing a mini-max, they'll be popular. But I definitely want some Rangers here. I think this is a really, really good spot.
I would just rather flip the teams. The Rangers getting 16% aggregate and the Mariners getting 9%. I'd rather just have 16% Mariners and way less Rangers.
I think that's very reasonable. Sadzek, not someone that I'm worried about at all. He's not going to go very deep. You get a bullpen game from the Rangers, and it's only 75 degrees.
Yeah, they're going to Jurado after that. Who's
God, actually?
Yeah. He's like the second starter for today.
I did not know that. So I still love the Rangers. That doesn't change my Rangers love, but Mariners, dude, they got to be the highest on stack then. If we know Jurado's coming in,
yeah,
they should be the highest on stack then.
They're not even the second highest on stack of the day.
Jurado is awful.
Yes, he is.
I mean, this guy is. He's one of the worst pitchers. He's worse than Eric Lauer.
Oh my God, yeah, dude, Eric Lauer is not bad.
Oh, Eric Lauer's bad.
Ugh, are we doing this right now? It's too early for this.
Eric Lauer's disgustingly bad.
I cannot have you besmirching Eric Lauer like this.
All right, you can play all Eric Lauer. I'll play the Dodgers.
I'll still be playing the Dodgers. Wait, does Eric Lauer pitch today? I don't even know. I didn't even know he was on the slate.
Yes, pitches today.
I don't want him if he's not in Petco.
Oh, okay. Well, he's awful. So, anyways, who are your favorite bats? Pick one on each side. I think that's
okay. Nelson Cruz would be my number one bat from the Mariners, although he is quite owned on DK, but that's the guy that I have the most of. On the Rangers, I would probably go to Odor.
Okay, yeah, so it'd be similar for me, Cruz, and then I think it would be Mazzara on the Rangers for me.
I don't have a problem with that whatsoever.
Is Gallo going to be chalk?
No.
Nah.
6%. He's 5,000, hitting 7th potentially. If he's hitting 7th, I mean, I guess Joey Gallo is the type of guy where his profile will either... There's not a lot of middle ground for him. He's either going to give you 0 or, 24.
Mm-hmm.
So, price... I guess I'd rather him be expensive so no one's on him, because what you're rostering him for is the potential of hitting like multiple dongs.
Sure. Exactly.
I just re-crunched right now. I'm going to dump that in with my minimal Rangers and nerfing Chris Sale and Trevor Bauer. Should be fun to look at. My ownership cap on pitchers is 29%, so I won't be anywhere near this crazy Rich Hill ownership that we haven't talked about quite yet. Ooh, I love this now. I've got the Rangers down quite a bit. That makes me happy. Way more Mariners. Like it.
Dude, this is a fun slate. I've flipped.
You warming up? That's not how I was yesterday.
After seeing this ownership, if this is even close, and we usually are close, and obviously much, much more accurate once we get to like 6 Eastern, once live before lock's going. So, oh, yeah, by the way, just remember to keep checking ownership throughout the day. Don't take the morning as the gospel.
Yeah, for sure.
Good starting point for sure. But there are major updates that happen throughout the day. So, like, if you think that you're just getting a freebie, like right now, stuff does change throughout the day. Like, pitchers get scratched, teams, like, people flock to other teams.
So true. So true.
Gerardo is so bad. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to have a lot of Mariners. That's going to be the stand that I take, and I'll be under on Rangers full stacks. They seem like very pinch hitty right now. I don't know if that'll shake out like that, but I could see a couple of
Rangers?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. They pretty much roll out the same lineup against righties and lefties.
Let's take a look. When's the last time they played? 2 days ago. Actually, is that a thing that I could look at? Team batting. Can I select pinch hitting? Can. Ooh. All right, so I can't do the last month. I got to go to the splits. Cool. I want to see which team pinch hits the most. I think I can do that. As a pinch hitter, in the last 30 days, the Dodgers have the most pinch hit at bats, 73.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City, 7. I think this could be a nice tie-in for Adam and I. Adam and I are going to talk about if stacking is less important now due to some changes in roster construction with the 40-man rosters being available. And I think that there's probably some spots where it's more applicable than not. Like if the Royals only have 7 pinch hit at-bats in their last 30 days, I think that still stacking the Royals is probably feasible. They don't appear to be bringing anybody in like that. But the Dodgers and the Phillies, 73, 71, the Brewers, 69, they might be the teams that we want to stack 5-mans less.
I mean, it's certainly something to look into. I don't know that I'm ready to say that you can't play a team because they're pinch hitting.
I don't mean you can't play them, but you might be less likely to have a 5-man Dodger stack and maybe drop to a 4 and go 4-2-2 instead of 5-2-1 because you're just losing out on, multiple guys potentially in a stack.
That's understandable.
Because there's a giant difference between 70 pinch hit plate appearances in 30 days and 7. Like that's very different roster construction. So I'm going to leave that tab up there to talk about it with Adam. Alrighty. Do you have anything else you want to talk about in this Mariners-Rangers game?
I do not.
Okay. Let's move on. We got quite a few games to go yet. Angels and Astros. Angels 3.1 run implied total. Astros 4.7. The 68% chance to win for the Stros. Andrew Heaney going for the Angels. Garrett Cole going for Houston. Cole, one of the chalkier pitchers of the day, coming in at 22% expected ownership, which is third right now. I have that same ownership, but if ownership holds up until lock with Cole at 22 and DeGrom at 3, I'll probably split that ownership and go like 15 apiece. They should be closer than that, and they're not. So I like Cole, no problem having him, but pay attention to ownership. What do you think about Cole?
He's fine. Okay, so if DeGrom wasn't on the slate, I would have more interest in Cole, but I much prefer DeGrom. I think, like I said, the talent gap is there. DeGrom's just a much better pitcher at this point. Cole is perfectly fine, and he's been doing a great job of getting the strikeouts. going deep has been tough. And I pointed this out on the night shift for him. Since he had that 9-inning complete game shutout with 16 strikeouts on May 4th, just a nuclear outing, like 60 DK points. No one's going to touch that this year. I don't think even Paxton's perfect or no hitter, I don't even think touched 60. But since that, he has gone over 30 points twice. And even if he gets 30 here, there's no way he kills me. There's expensive bats that I love. And I don't see a need to go there in a below average strikeout matchup against the Angels.
Yeah, I get that. I totally do. This is a much different Angels lineup than it was earlier in the season. They're not running as righty heavy as they normally were. But 3.1 run implied total, that is super low. Second lowest on the slate. No respect for the Angels whatsoever.
How about you got any Angels bats interest? Ohtani?
No Ohtani. Just Trout, probably. Trout at 4% ownership. I'm in.
Okay. I will get to two-man Angels stacks. Cole still does give up lefty power. So Jose Miguel Fernandez, if he's batting second at 2,700, like you're just home run hunting. And I think that's a reasonable play, as is Ohtani for 4,400.
I agree. Astros, anything outside of Springer, Altuve, Bregman?
I like the Astros full stacks. This is another reason why I don't know that you need to get to Cole, even though they're not even that expensive. You got Bregman for $5K, and then Altuve, Springer, both affordable, mid $4K. Correa only $4K. I like the full Astro stack, near 5 implied total. Heaney does give up righty power, 40% hard hit rate for the season. Like he's a good pitcher and all, but does give up line drives and hard contact and fly balls. So wind blowing out here and 80 degrees and humid. If the roof is open, yeah, give me some Astros.
Chris Johnson in chat, maybe somebody asked this already, but can someone tell me that the guy who won the 25-cent entry contest on FanDuel had a cheat code to get Chirinos as a pitcher? He wasn't in the player pool. He was. You have to search for him. He's not marked as a probable starter, so you have that box checked. I had quite a bit of Chirinos on FanDuel, actually.
You can play any pitcher that's on FanDuel or DK any day.
Yeah.
You have to unclick probable pitchers.
Let me hop to it. So at the bottom of the screen, you see there's a checkbox that says only show probable pitchers. You need to uncheck that if you just want the list, or if you just want to type in Chirinos. That's a bad example for today, but if you uncheck that box, then you have the ability to select any pitcher that you want. So yeah, there you go. All right, let's move on.
Let's do it.
Giants and Cardinals. Giants, 3.4 run implied total. Cardinals, 4.2. It's a 60% chance to win for the Cards. Madison Bumgarner going for San Francisco. John Gant going for St. Louis. Matty Bum-Bums, no ownership projected. None for me either. John Gant, though, 12% expected ownership on DK, and I am getting him at my cap, 29%. What do you think about Bumgarner and Gant?
Bumgarner, pretty easy fade for me, especially with Greinke on the slate now. Just no need to go there against a bunch of power righties. And I think you can make a case for some of these Cardinals, like Ozuna and Jorko and Yadi Molina. I like a lot. Not as much if he's batting 7th, but I just think it's a good matchup against Bumgarner for him. Bumgarner has not been good against righties, and he hasn't been for over a year now. On the season, 470 xFIP, 42% hard contact, just a 305 WOBA, and a 251 BABIP. So I think he's getting a little bit lucky. Does a good job getting ground balls for the most part, but under 18% K rate against righties. He's going to see 8 of them here. 7 including Gant, or 7 in addition to Gant. I just think it's a terrible spot for Bumgarner. no interest there. And then Gant, I think, is just someone that's going to be in my player pool. I'm going to let projections do the work on him. He's not someone I'm forcing in. He's just an option down here. Do you have a strong take on Gant?
Yeah, I like him quite a bit. That 3.4 run implied total for the Giants is super appealing. And it's just a really not good Giants lineup. Without having no Belt, no more McCutchen, no Posey. That's, arguably their 3 best hitters walking into this year, just not in the lineup anymore. If Gregor Blanco is leading off, he's terrible. Chris Shaw's terrible. Nick Hundley's terrible. Aramis Garcia's terrible. Gorkys Hernandez is terrible. What are we worried about here? I'll take my chances. Joe Panic's not going to hurt you in a righty-lefty matchup. Brandon Crawford's probably not going to hurt you in a righty-lefty matchup. I'm going to have a ton of Gant today. I might even raise my exposure cap here.
Yeah, no Belt in that lineup makes a big difference. He would be kind of the only bat I'm scared of. And Gant, while his season numbers look terrible against lefties, he is down about 8% hard contact to them since a month ago. He was at over 60 for a while against lefties. Now he's at 52. Still not great, but he's done a better job limiting hard contact.
If you had one bat from the Giants, who would it be?
Crawford.
I don't disagree. No ownership here in this game from a hitting perspective, so not much else to talk about. You going to be able to talk about this next game? Rockies and Diamondbacks, 3.6 run implied total on both sides. It's a 50-50 game. German Marquez going for Colorado. Zach Greinke, I repeat, Zach Greinke going for Arizona. Not godly. Marquez, 2% expected ownership on DraftKings. I have 12, and I will happily go to more than that if need be. The one that's even more ridiculous, get ready, Zach Greinke, 25% expected ownership on DK. I have 7, but I do want to make a note. The Rockies, against right-handed pitching on the road this year, have been dreadful.
Yep.
What do you want to do with Marquez at 10-5 today?
Play him. So if I can't get up to DeGrom, I'm going to Marquez. That is a pretty big discount on Marquez. I hope people jump off of the Marquez train, but I'm not. The swinging strikes they've been there forever. The strikeouts, the results have been fantastic. He had one, bad start, you could call it, against the Giants last time out. He went 6 innings, got 4 strikeouts, and he allowed 3 runs. So if that's your bad start, you're a pretty awesome pitcher. I think the strikeout should be here. The Diamondbacks are striking out 26% of the time. Over the last month, that's the highest in the MLB, over 24% for the season. That's top 5 in the MLB against righties. I think he has 30-point upside. So 10-5, yeah, I think that's a discount on Marquez, as weird as that is to say.
Yeah, before his most recent start, he had 9 straight starts, 20 or higher.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, he faced Arizona, 11 Ks, 1 walk, 6 hits, 7 innings in Coors. I mean, he had 3 straight starts of 11, 11, 13 Ks. Yeah, well, I'll pay the price. I definitely want Marquez, especially if he's unowned.
He's going to be under 10%. I think that's pretty fair to say.
2% right now. I hope that holds.
I think it will be. I think people don't realize how good this guy is.
How could you play Greinke at 25% and German Marquez at 2% in this game?
I mean, I think Greinke's a fine play.
So do I.
But at the ownerships, he's not, and they're not the same price, but they're in the same price range.
Yeah.
And Marquez is a better pitcher right now. Similar matchup.
There's just such better upside to Marquez, I think. And probably a higher floor. Yeah, I love Marquez here. I don't want to be anywhere near that Zach Greinke ownership.
I don't think I'll get to 25%. I would probably have half of that if I had to guess right now.
Okay, sounds good. No real ownership here on bats. Nobody above 4% projected ownership, except for AJ Pollock on FanDuel, where he's 3,300. Are you looking to stack up any of these teams?
Are we still talking about the Rockies Diamondbacks?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
I agree.
Emac says, so I could play Ariel Jurado, asking for a friend. No, yeah. Play Ariel Jurado.
Yeah, guys, definitely play Ariel Jurado on FanDuel. That should be a good play.
You can send me a head-to-head. Play Ariel Jurado.
Yeah. 2 games left. Twins and A's. Twins, 3.9 run implied total. A's, 4.4. 56% chance to win for the A's. Jose Barrios going for Minnesota. Liam Hendricks, the nominal starter for Oakland. You're clearly not playing Hendricks here. Are you playing Barrios? 8% expected ownership on DK right now.
Nope. Not targeting against the A's. I like Lowry and Olsen against him quite a bit. Barrios, huge home road splits for him. Similar to Wei Chen, not as extreme, but he's just not the same pitcher. You see a near 5 total against Barrios. Yeah, he's a pretty easy fade for me. What about you?
I do like the idea of this park. Looking at his splits now. I mean, he hasn't been... It's been... Okay, so his numbers aren't that bad on the road, except for a very large home run per 9. I mean, like the K rate drops from 27 to 22. That's not optimal, but what's really killing him is the fact that he's jumping up from a half home run per 9 to 2 home runs per 9.
Okay.
This is a pretty good park to mitigate that. So I don't hate the idea of having him here in Oakland. I'm not going to get to him, and it doesn't look like the public is either, but if you're going to play him on the road, I think this is probably an okay spot just because of the ballpark.
Yeah, great pitcher's park. Cool weather. But Oakland, I would just rather not target against them.
But I think it's reasonable. And I don't have any bats here. Nobody more than 3% on my side. Highest owned guy in the game is Logan Forsythe, 6% on DK. Yeah, what up? Not kidding either.
There's no reason to target against the Oakland bullpen, in my opinion. One of the best in the MLB. It's going to be a bullpen game. I don't know who's coming in after Hendricks. That might be
I don't think it's anybody long.
Is it like Bassett or something?
I just think it's going to be a bunch of 2-inning guys.
Yeah, they should crush the Twins then.
Yep. Final game. Padres and Dodgers. Padres 2.8 run implied total. Dodgers 4.7. 71% chance to win for the Dodgers. Eric Lauer going for San Diego. Stud. Rich Hill going for LA. Rich Hill, he is the chalk of all chalks today. 46% expected ownership on DraftKings. I will not be anywhere near there. Doesn't mean I don't like Rich Hill, but that's way too much on a 14-game slate. Although the Padres are bad. Eric Lauer not getting any love. 0% expected ownership. I think that's probably safe. Lefty against most likely 8 Dodgers righties. What do you want to do with Rich Hill at 46%?
Coming underweight. He's pretty safe here. But just he's another one. I don't see how he kills me for fading him at 9,500. So it's a really low total, and people are going to be attracted to that. But look at his pitch counts his last few games. Like, he was cruising in Coors, and they pulled him at 5 innings with 78 pitches. I mean, he did allow 4 earned, but 5 innings, 7 Ks. Like, it's not like he was pitching poorly. 101 against the Mets, 89 against the Diamondbacks, 90 against the Padres last time out. And he went 6 innings with 8 strikeouts with no earned runs. So you're going to need that kind of performance. And you're going to need probably 25 points out of him, which is doable, but 46% ownership. just makes so much sense to pivot elsewhere.
Yeah, I won't be anywhere near that. I won't have any more than 29%. We'll see how that ends up by the end of the day.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I probably will have 20% of Hill, and I'll be like, if I need 9,500 and the optimizer gives me a bunch of Rich Hill, that's fine. But there's no way I'm getting to anywhere near 30.
No, there's no reason to do it.
Yeah.
Javier Guerra. I'm missing a guy in the Padres for reasons I can't really figure out. Is he not in the player pool?
No, he's there.
Is he?
2,800. Yeah, 2,800.
Is he? Does he have a different? Does he have a different name? Oh, he's Javi Guerra. Okay, that makes sense.
Let's talk about how many Dodgers bats you're having here.
Okay. A lot. And I think the more interesting thing to talk about is 2% aggregate ownership on FanDuel, 1% aggregate ownership on DraftKings, 3% to Dozier, 3% to Turner, 5% to Machado, and nothing else. I have 8% aggregate ownership on the Dodgers. Tons of Dozier, Turner, Freese, Kemp. I want it all. Team Dodgers. Let's roll.
Yeah. So looking at the weather in other games, I think they're going to come in a little higher than that. I hope the weather in Texas clears up so that it takes some ownership off the Dodgers. But the Dodgers are maybe my favorite stack of the night. Love when I can play them at low ownership, especially against a bad pitcher. Lauer is against righties. On the slate, you search, there's 30 pitchers on tonight's slate. Against righties, line drive percentage, 31.7%. The next highest is Liam Hendricks, 27.8%. And then everyone else is around 23 to 18. So he just gives up so much hard contact to righties, 41% in total, 156 whip. Like, he walks guys. He doesn't strike them out above average. You're not going to strike guys out here. And you just get a bunch of lefty mashers. Kemp hits lefties very well. Kike hits lefties very well. Puig gets everything pretty well, but he bats seventh for whatever reason. David Freese can hit lefties at this point in his career. Machado, Turner, Dozier, we know what those guys can do. So they're so deep. And as an added bonus, I think we're going to see – so after they pound Lauer in the second inning, I think we're going to see Rowan Wick. He's a lefty. And then the other guy I think we might see is Matt Strahm, who's also a lefty. Neither of those guys – so Strahm pitched 2 days ago. Wick pitched 4 days ago. So you may get a few extra at-bats against lefties, and that's pretty valuable here. So I like that.
Motherfuckers. So there's a Javier Guerra and a Javi Guerra, two separate players. I'm going to have to hash that out. Ugh. Dude, I'm so excited to match the Dodgers tonight and have them just absolutely bonus.
Wasn't Josh just talking about pinch hitters, but now he wants all the Dodgers? Well, I just said why. I think you're going to get a lefty right after Lauer. So the reason you would pinch hit is because they're going to bring in a righty. And they still might. They have other guys that are fresh. Colton Brewer, he's a righty, I think. But
here's where I'm at on the Dodgers. And that pinch hit stuff is a good point. If they're essentially unowned, 2% aggregate and 1% aggregate on DK, I can easily be at 5 to 6% and take my chances that they blow up in the first 5 innings.
And I mean, if they blow up right away, let's say they get to Lauer in the second inning, they pull him midway through the third or whatever, and they bring in a righty. They're not getting pinch hit right then.
No,
they're getting pinch hit in the 7th and 8th inning.
Yeah.
So I think you don't want to overweight it. It makes sense to consider, especially if there's a reliever that could come in. But I think we're both on the same page that Lauer is not a good pitcher and it's a terrible matchup. So
we are not on the same page that Lauer is a terrible pitcher. Come on now, man.
He's so bad. He is so bad.
Team Eric Lauer for life. But no,
He's not.
look, it's not a great spot for Eric Lauer. Let's be clear here.
Oh, it's an awful spot. He's gonna get wrecked.
He's perfectly average.
Oof. I don't know if he's perfectly average. Now, Erlin, he's a better pitcher than Lauer.
I can't remember which one's Erlin and which one's Eflin at this point.
I always get them confused, but now I know Lauer is the bad soft tossing lefty. Erlin is the okay one.
You want to look at some crunches?
Yeah, let's do it.
Give me a team to take a look at. Or pitchers, whatever you want to do.
Let's do the Dodgers.
Okay. Lots of Dodgers, Rich Hill, John Gant combos.
You need a screen share?
Ah, fuck. There.
Oh, wow. Oh, you can do that. Okay. So you can do Hill Castillo with Dodgers. Stewart, I like that. I don't like V-Mart that much, and I don't like Barnes, but wow. Dozier, Turner, Machado, Kemp. I like that a lot.
So do I. I like the Jay Bruce line here. CC Gant with Freeman, JD, and Nelson Cruz. Trying to find one without Austin Barnes. I mean,
wow.
Sal Perez, Rhys Hoskins, Jay Bruce with Castillo and Gant. I love that.
Yep.
Stanton, Cruz, Sal Perez.
You have any Marquez? Oh, there we go. I see one at the bottom. Marquez Chen.
Bruce, Longoria, Ozuna. You can make Longoria whatever you want it to be.
You put in Solarte or someone.
Yeah. I like it.
Jeez.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. God, I wanted to get more DeGrom, but just looking at this stuff right now, I don't know how much I'll end up with him. I mean, I'll be over the field, but
yeah,
it's just there's always expensive bats. You want to look at Houston?
Huh. Here we go. Man, they're all over the place in pitching combinations.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that on a big slate.
I mean, Turner, Stanton, Cruz, Odor, Hoskins, McCutchen, Dozier, Stanton, McCutchen. You can get a lot of nice one-offs with some powerful Astro stacks.
Yeah, dude, I like this slate. Wow.
Turned you. We turned you.
Turned me. Sometimes you just got to see the crunches. You just got to see how you can get creative here.
Dude, Sabathia Liriano, as if it's 2008. Astro stack, Machado, Betts, Hoskins.
Wow. And you could change Hoskins to
anybody.
Like
you have 4,900 to do whatever you want. You make it Stanton if you'd like. Machado, Betts, Stanton.
There we go. Three
Nuclear
pretty
lineup.
Good one-offs there.
Gaddis, Gurriel, Altuve, Bregman, Springer, Machado, Betts, Stanton. Fucking all-star team.
That's pretty good.
At least from a hitting perspective. Like, you know, nobody doubts Gaddis's bat. That's a loaded lineup.
Perfect. I love it.
You just need Sabathia and Liriano to not die. Yeah.
Huh?
Don't play this, people. Don't play it. All right, plugs. Strategy or spotlight hitters, pitcher stacks are out. We'll get a little bit of a tweak to the Zach Godley section of that pitcher's article. Myself and Adam will be on for the process show sometime in between 11 and 11:15, depending on how much food I have to jam down my throat. We are going to be talking whether or not we should be changing our approach to stacking now that we're at the end of the season. We will have from A to B, Andrew and Ben at 2:30. The deeper dive, Lofty and Adam going game by game, just like Jake and I, from 5 to 6. And then Jake and Chris taking us home 6 to 7, live before lock. going all the way up until the weekend begins. We have football content all over the site, baseball content all over the site. Gearing up for week 3 of the NFL as well. So check it all out. Jake, anything else we should be plugging?
Spotlight Hitters Pitcher Stacks is out. Night shift for tomorrow. I don't know if we're doing a show tomorrow for baseball, but I will have Spotlight Hitters Pitches and Stacks out for that. So I got you. I'll be in Slack.
We do have a show tomorrow, not the baseball, well, potentially the baseball show if you and EMAC are up to it. You guys talk about that. But
chat. Yeah.
Chris Spags, Alex Osimo Baker, Evan Silva, round 2 on the contrary tomorrow. Time not entirely sure. It was 1:30 last week. Haven't finalized that. You'll check our Twitter feed if you're interested in figuring out when that's going to go down. But sometime tomorrow afternoon, those 3 guys going to go at it again heading into week 3. Really excited. That was our most popular video we've had by far in the history of this website. So check it out again. Check it out from last week. Yeah, lots of good stuff. Not all slate specific stuff.
Yeah, fun stuff. Fun stuff.
Best of luck, everybody. We will be back. Jake and I will be back together Monday morning. So miss us. Bye.